Salut tout le monde, et bienvenue to the second part of our review for Paul's Boutique, the 1989 release from the Beastie Boys, their second full studio album. That's right, folks. We're going through the second half of the Beastie Boys Paul's Boutique project, track by track, over here on the Classic West podcast, because that's what we do.
That's right.
My name is Holden, Stephan, Roy.
My name is your lady friend, Bonnie.
And we are mad excited to get through the second half of this project. So if you are super curious to know what we think of, like, I don't know, Shake Your Rump or Eggman, go check out part 1, where we also discuss the Sounds of Science 3-minute rule and all that good stuff.
You know, watch the whole thing, then come back here, and then,
let us know in the comments what you think, what you're all up to. This episode is brought to you in part or in full by DJ Black Hurricane. I suppose we have to do effort too, so it's not like in full.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I was just trying to sound like TV or something. Anyway.
Like Sesame Street.
This is how I mac on the girls when I'm out there. I just kind of run my mouth. I'm feeling a little bit fumbly and stuff, and I'm like, hey, ladies. I feel like this is some song that, like, everybody always loved and everybody felt was, like, super fantastic. I don't know. It's fun. Like, I can feel like if I threw this on at a wedding or if I threw this on at any party, it's just a good fucking time.
Like a summertime, like, pool party, backyard party, like, barbecue, something. Like, I feel like this would be, like, a good, like, song for, like, that. Like, it just makes me think of, I don't know, summertime, hanging out.
I feel like the whole song is like, I'm macking on you girls here through this song, so that way I don't have to try quite as hard in, like, the actual real life. And the ladies
just go to him, and, like, perfect, brilliant.
Anyway, what do you think about this track? You're the lady here.
I sure am. I am the lady friend, Bonnie. So this one is more funky sounding. I like this one. It definitely makes me want to, like, clap along to it. And, like, I like the... I don't know what it is, like the bell or the cowbell or whatever the heck it was. It's like in it.
It's definitely a cowbell.
Yeah, like I like that. You know, more cowbell never is a bad thing.
That's not true.
So it's basically just like a fun song, and they each get a verse to spit about like their girl stories and whatever, and like the hook like is like fun to sing along to, like the hey ladies get funky, hey ladies, like it's just fun, and it just like keeps going, and like there's like some nice mixing on this one, and you know, like especially like on like the choruses and like at the end, I don't know, I mean it's not like brilliant like poetry or anything like that, but it's nice, and you know, they're showing appreciation for the ladies, and since this song or this album was dedicated to ladies, you know, which we, you know, from the very first song, essentially this is a good like starting point for the second half, because this is another song basically about ladies, and the very first song on this album was about ladies too, so these guys definitely like their ladies, and it's just like a nice, fun, appreciative song about women. So I give this a 4.5 on 5.
I like the music video. They look ridiculous. Yep. They have great colors. They look so goofy. It almost looks like it's spoofing what other people are trying to do seriously.
Like they're just being goofy as hell, and like they're doing them.
But yeah, like, hey ladies in the place, I'm calling you out. There never was a city kid, truer and bluer, just more to me than you'll never know, and I got more hits than Shadrach. Oh, I'm like, okay. I don't know what that means, because I've never really heard of that before I heard this. It's apparently Shadrach is basically the Babe Ruth of Japan. In 22 seasons, he smacked 2,786 hits.
If I'm not mistaken, Japanese love their baseball.
And so what that means is he smashed almost 3 grand's worth of women. That's a lot of women. Anyway, nice. So he gets the ladies. he's the guy you want to be fornicating with, you know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But date women on TV with the help of Chuck Woolery. I thought that line was funny. It's like, yeah, we know famous people, and they're helping us get famous people, but like in this goofier kind of way. But like, you know, also playing on pop culture shit that I'm way too young for. Words flowing out just like the Grand Canyon. Endless, always ready to go. And he's always out looking for a female companion. And I'm like, all right. It's just kind of like it almost feels like a National Lampoon movie. It's just a bunch of goofy, I'm on the prowl, I'm gonna get these women, I throw the last one, the tallest one, drag her to the kids, took off her moccasins, put on the bib, got her ready to eat the dick. But like, it's just kind of that. They're just trying to smash. And then you get that chorus, which is iconic. And then I guarantee you that's when everybody was dancing. Like, I could see how everyone high on cocaine dancing in the club at the time would have been really into the beat and the upbeat nature of this and bopping all around to it. I'm not saying they did coke. I'm saying I can see how this song appeals to people on cocaine. And then the second verse, well, me in the corner with a good-looking daughter, I dropped my drawers and said, welcome back, Cotter. Playing back on that TV show and whatnot. Again, part of it's hard to like catch the references without looking them up. They're going over my head a bit. I feel like of the whole album, this might be the most dated song. Like, in my opinion, like this one just feels more like everything else kind of had like a more timeless entity to it.
That's fair.
And this just feels like it was like the pop single of this project, but like the pop single in 1989 of this and that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Maybe I'm completely misreading it. I enjoy the song. I really like, as much as I'm saying that, I really kind of get into it. Like, you put it on and it just makes you want to shake your rump and like get all goofy with it. But like, I don't know that I would like throw this on. Like the internet made it seem like this song was highly like the shit, and I know a lot of people like who really like this song, and I'm like, this is not as good as a lot of other songs on this project, in my opinion. It's not that it's bad. It's just I like a lot of the rest of this album more, but at the same time, when I just think about the stark contrast in sounds that are used, right? It's actually really incredible. And it's really like this song ends up being like this super interesting feat of both supremely goofy sounds put together, but also coming in like a really great ladies jam that just makes you want to dance, which ultimately helps you accomplish the goal of taking the ladies home. Because they were cutting up the rug. She started cutting up the carpet. Because get it, cutting up the rug is dancing. Turns out she started literally cutting up the carpet. In my apartment, I begged her, please stop it. The gift to gab is the gift to have, and that girl ain't nothing but a crap. And I'm like, that's fucking like just blunt. It's like, I'm gonna talk, I'm gonna get them home. I got the game. They're just women. They're just whatever. And it just sounds like a couple of young, late teens, early 20s guys who know exactly how to get laid, who have done this 1,000 times. And because they're kind of successful and popping and cute in their communities, you know, they do quite well is what I take from this. Anyway, the third verse is fine too. I don't know. You know that she's got a gold tooth. You know she's hardcore. She'll show you a good time, then she'll show you the door. Break up with your girl, it ended in tears. Vincent Van Gogh, go and mail that ear. I thought that was clever. So he meets the fancy girl, fucks her, gets kicked out. She was using him, so it's a bit of a juxtaposition as to the other two verses, which is more like getting the girls. And then he responds by mailing the ear, like what Van Gogh did for the prostitute that he had sex with back in the day. He called her in the middle of the night when he's drinking. The phone booth on the corner is damp and it's stinking. She said, come on over, it was me that you missed. I threw the trash can through a window because you know I got dissed. And I like that because it kind of plays up like he's desperate or whatever. And when she invites him back, instead of actually like doing it, he throws the trash can through a window and smashes the window and like lashes out back. Then the bomb left you and you went insane. You blew yourself up in the back of the 6 train. So I guess somebody else's girlfriend left and then they blew themselves up on a train committing an act of terrorism. I wonder if that lyric could have gotten through so easily about 10, 15 years later.
Yep.
Anyhow, I really like it. Like, I like it, but I think it's crazy. Like, I think it's weird. I don't know. This song gives me mixed feelings depending on my mood when I listen to it.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a 4.5 because, like I said, just the stark contrast of, like, sounds is pretty freaking incredible. Anyway, do you have more to comment on this one?
No, but I am ready to eat 5-piece chicken dinner.
Are you getting us that? Like, what? This is a thing that really happens.
Yep.
It samples Shucking the Corn by Eric Weisberg. And it says, Jeb, get away from the barbecue, man. Don, get the hell away from that thing. Don, give me a kiss. Won't you come and give me a kiss? And then it ends. And I'm like, what the fuck was this? A little thing. It really made me want chicken, though. Like, it really made me want a nice fried chicken meal. That's what it made me want. But that was a thing that happened. If it's a four on. What did I give it? I think I gave it a 4 on 5. Like, I couldn't get into it. Like, I was just like, this just happened, and I don't know. It's so weird. It's so random. Like, it flows well from the last song. It really, really does. It's a skit thing.
It's definitely like a stark contrast from like the last thing. It's just like this like wild old like banjo sound, like maybe from like a Wild Western movie, or like something from maybe like Dukes of Hazzard, like something like goofy like that. And like maybe I'm thinking Dukes of Hazzard because like it just makes me think like they would love that. I'm sure they watch that and like it's just goofy. Again, referring back to the guys that I used to hang out and do all the crazy shit with, they loved Dukes of Hazzard. So that could be something that they liked as well. And it's literally 23 seconds and it's just wild fun for that long, and why not, I guess. I mean, like, why the fuck not? So I gave it a 4.4 on 5.
All right. Well, maybe after this review, I should fear that I'm looking down the barrel of a gun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I really like this song a lot. I think the beat sounds really fucking cool. It also has a wide collection of samples, including Pink Floyd's Time, Put Your Hand in the Hand by Ocean, Mississippi Queen by Mountain, Last Bongo in Belgium by the Incredible Bongo Band, which does give us some great rhythms. But yeah, Pink Floyd and the Incredible Bongo Band. Like, it's just fun to look into like this. This has another music video with the fishbowl lens, and it's goofy and same kind of shit as the other one with the fishbowl lens. What do you think about this track?
I like this one. It's it has like a smooth, like funky beat. I like the drumming, and like the like electric guitar that's featured. So it's a little bit more like rockish sort of.
Yeah, it's nice.
And I think the gun is this in like the mic. I think that's kind of what they were talking about. And they're so fire that you shouldn't even bother, because shouldn't even bother trying to beat them, because you're just gonna lose, just like that kind of thing. Like, you're just gonna piss them off, and they're gonna retaliate and kick your ass even more, but like just in like musical sense. Again, like the way that they flow back and forth like on this one is on all of them, a lot, or not all of them, some of them is sick. This one's really cool. They definitely sound like a really like goofy crew of guys, and I don't know if they're, but anyways, whatever. This one just sounds more like rock and roll, and like they're just there to like have a good time and just be goofy and like prove to everybody that they can spit like sick rhymes. So it's cool, and like they do a good job of sort of making each song sound unique from the others. That's definitely something that I can say about this album, and a lot of what they do is just like so unique. So I give this another 4.5 on 5.
That's true. 10 tracks into this project, and there is again nothing that duplicates in terms of whatever. Even like when they come at it, like this comes in super serious, almost like they have a point to prove. Like, almost has like a Western intense feel, like they're just a bunch of gunslingers ready to go off. Which, in a sense, if you're in New York and hip hop on the streets and you people battling on rhyme corners, and I understand that was a part of the culture, no? Anyway, so I'm rolling down the hill, snowballing, getting bigger. That's clever, because if you're rolling down a hill and you're a snowball, as it rolls down the hill, it collects more snow, thus it gets bigger. An explosion in the chamber, the hammer from the trigger, I see him get stabbed, I watch the blood spill out, he had more cuss than my man Chuck Chillout. I don't know who Chuck Chillout is, but again, it's a little more violent, it's a little more intense coming in through. 24 is my age, 22 is my gauge. Okay, so it's 24.
Badass.
It's coming through. I'm writing rhymes on a page. I'm going off in a rage. So this is like angry rap, man. Like, this is the Beastie Boys fucking battling it out, coming through. And I really like the intensity. I like the seriousness of it. jumping ahead just a little bit. 3 on the tree in the middle of the night. I have the steak on my head because I got into a fist fight. So you just picture him at a restaurant, everything got fucked up, and he ends up with literally like a steak sitting on his head because of the fucking skerfuffle they got into. Life comes in phases. Take the good with the bad. You bought the coins on the street. Now you know you got had. So it's like when bad things happen, you have to cut the losses and give it an example of how you can get scammed in a situation. Because it's all high spirit. You know, you got to hear it. Don't touch the mic, baby. Don't come near it. So they got their energy and generally they're positive. But when a push comes to shove, they got the mic. They own that shit. You can't fucking get it because it's going to get you. It's going to get you, you know? And then it has like that intense fucking chorus. Like looking down the barrel of a gun, son of a bitch, getting paid, getting rich. Like that's a fucking like fly ass series of lines, right? Like, so if you think about the mic, they're looking down the barrel of a gun, but it's also like every time they get on the mic, it's like that do or die mission, because if you flop, if you're not good, it is like you, in a sense, your career gets capped. You lose your opportunity, etc. But at the end of the day, they are so fly with it, they're getting paid, getting rich. Then you get a whole other verse because it's dope. Ultra violence be running through my head, cold. Medina, y'all making me see red. Rapid fire Louis like Rambo got bullets. Dope, calling it Rambo coming through. I'ma die harder, which is, I guess, Die Hard 2. Like my kid Bruce Willis. I'm like, that's funny. Anyway, and then it just kind of like flows through a couple more lines. Like, got your finger on the trigger like the son of Sam I am. Son of Sam is a serial killer. He was a
And
crazy one.
there's a few there's been several rappers that have mentioned him, and I think
he's like notorious
he's from Brooklyn,
AF.
I believe.
And then like Clockwork Orange going off on the town. That's a great line too. Like it's pretty cultured. There's just a different mix of stuff. I don't mean cultured as in other people aren't. I mean like the amount of different mixing that went into this album can't be like of ideas. I mean can't be described in any other way. These guys were on top of their shit. They knew what was going on. And then we jump ahead just to the end. You're a headless chicken chasing a sucker free basin. You're looking for a fist to put your face in. Well, get hip, don't slip your knuckleheads. Racism is a schism on a serious tip. And I feel like it's interesting that at the end of this, we kind of get the sense that this track is maybe a bunch of people trying to invalidate them for being white, or maybe they're against all forms of racism or whatever, but you can see that they've witnessed some shit and they kind of coming through. We're here to prove our point. Y'all can look a certain way. Y'all can come off a certain way. It sounds to me maybe you're just a bunch of losers trying to be jealous, but at the end of the day, don't be racist, and it's fucked up. Like, it's not a good thing. And I'm like, that's a cool line to like end the track on and kind of put it there. I thought this was an amazing song. One of my favorites on this project. I give it an absolute 5 on 5. It's really, really cool.
Nice.
Anyway, the next track is called Car Thief. I don't know if it was related to this song or what it was, but I think it was Mike G wearing the Volkswagen thing around his neck. The car ornament led to a serious increase in people's hood ornaments being stolen because of the Beastie Boys.
That's funny.
Anyway, that's what this made me think of. I think this is kind of, again, commenting on other rappers and like how they're basically biting flows and biting styles and kind of relating it to a car thief as like the metaphor. I might be wrong. Okay. What do you think about this one?
I don't know. This one I feel like wasn't like my favorite one. I swear like the beat to this one at the beginning like gave me like anxiety listening to it. Like it's just sort of like, oh, like it just, I don't know. Which is cool that they can like give you that feeling, because I think that that's cool that they can do that. It doesn't all have to be like happy and, you know, whatever. But it just was like, ooh, it just, anyways, drove me kind of crazy. Maybe that's why I don't like this one so much. It made my like heart feel like it was racing. So basically, I think that this one is, you know, crew comes before like any ladies, you know, they're, you know, bros before hoes kind of situation. And it's about like, you know, doing some like different drugs. And I don't know. Like this one was like slower. It felt like a little less fun and like goofy and a little bit more of like a B-side kind of a track. For me, like not a hit. So I give this one a 4 on 5.
Fair enough. I just kind of like the vibe of it, or maybe it's not about suck at MCs. I don't really know exactly what it's about, but I feel like it touches on a lot of actual things that are going on in their life, and they're using the idea of it. Actually, you know what it might be about? Something I read, because I read an annotation that commented on the line, how did Kane feel cool with my man Rush? Rush saw my teeth fall in the sink when I started to brush. Apparently Rush is like one of their names for Russell Simmons, because of his company Rush Communications, and they were beefing with them. I know at one point they held over the Beastie Boys' heads a bunch of royalty money, and apparently it was a serious amount, and it was kind of like either you make a License to Ill 2 with Rick Rubin or you don't get paid. I think they inevitably got paid, and like everybody's cool today, and so maybe it's kind of related to that too. I don't know. But either way, some static started in the pool hall, hit a motherfucker's face with a cue ball. Again, it's like it's getting fucking angry. Like, they're fucking wilding out. And I met this girl. She tried to gank me, so I smacked her in her booty with a plank B. So again, it's like, you know, people trying to take from them, robbing them. Maybe it's the literal money, like I said, from that situation. Because me and my crew are breaking windows, the bingo, the lotto, you know I'll never win those. Possession is half the law. I have my routines before y'all. See, that kind of feels like, you know, talking about other rappers. Like, we out here and people trying to jack our style and whatever. Your whole life is coming apart at the seams. You ain't nothing but a car thief breaking routines. See, I'm a city slicker. I ain't no townie right now. I wish I had another hash brownie. So it's like, that's an interesting line, right? Because it makes me remember how my dad was telling me back in the day hash was a lot more available than weed. But like, no, it's just like they're kind of pointing out like these other rappers who don't have originality. I can imagine how a lot of people saw the Beastie Boys' success and just kind of stole their gimmick and everything and tried to come through and completely play it. But instead of having a hash brownie where I guess you get to eat it, it's like Ricky always said, you've got a token pass or Mookie's going to kick your motherfucking ass. I don't fully understand that line, but I guess it ties into the weed, but maybe it's also talking about the style and like this state of, I guess maybe there's an expectation of people wanting to share what you've done. I don't know. Maybe I'm not really saying anything smart here. Try to take what isn't yours like a goddamn rat. See, I wouldn't. I even want to go out like that. And it's like the idea. It's like I'd rather go out doing my own thing, being original, than ever be famous for stealing somebody else's flow or style. Then I'm a writer. I'm a poet, a genius. I know it. I don't buy Chiba. I grow it. I'm like, fair enough. You can now grow weed in Quebec, I think. So, all you Quebec people.
I think you're allowed something like, what, 3 plants or something?
4 plants. Yeah. Anyway, you can't have more than 150 grams in your possession, though, so good luck. And then that cuts in with this speech from Max Yasgar in some Woodstock movie, I'm a farmer, and it's pretty great. People always trying to get next to me. I had a beautiful experience on ecstasy. Me too. Ecstasy has lots of beautiful experiences. Sometimes you go with a beautiful lady to a park, and you go on some swings, and it's real lovely on the ecstasy. Anyway, I kind of like how they're like, I don't like, you know, running through different stuff. Like cocaine gives like a bad experience where your teeth fall out. You be knowing nose candy on the Bowie Coke mirror. My girl asked for some, but I pretended not to hear her. So it's like he sees cocaine going on, and he's like, nah, we're not getting involved with that. I'm not into it. You can't deny me. You always want to try to kick me. Yo, you're going to get your ass kicked. Homeboy, throw in the towel. Your girl got dicked by Ricky Powell. So I looked that up. Ricky Powell is a guy who took pictures for the Beastie Boys for a while and turned himself into their like tour photographer for a little while.
Okay, that's cool.
He was also a horny sleazebag who would fuck anybody and anything.
Right.
And the Beastie Boys really enjoyed busting in on him having sex and like goofing around. And he was telling some story about how he was plowing a very large lady, and the Beastie Boys found this hilarious. I'm just saying.
She's got to get laid too.
So yeah, Ricky Powell was fucking everybody's girls on the Beastie Boys tours is apparently the point. That was a true story. And then in the third...
He's like a groupie.
Yeah. All the wife beaters and all the tax cheaters sitting in the White House pulling their Peters. I'm like, damn, they went political. Buy my chiba from the cop down the street, the only cop with a rope chain when he's walking the beat. So you have the politicians being assholes, the cops selling weed, and it's like, again, the corruption and stuff, which is fascinating in the middle of this track. So, this car thief is pretty broad. So like a sneaky pouch, time bomb ticking, A like the beat, to my rhyme just licking, space cake cookies, I discover who I am, I'm a dusted old bummy, hurdy-gurdy man. And then he transitions into eating some edibles and having some self-discovery. Overall, I really think the song's cool, and how they kind of like hold true to themselves, looking at the fucked up bullshit in the world and just kind of ending it like, listen, I can get my own car, you have to steal one, just ending it like that. I think it's a really cool track, and I give it a 4.5 on 5.
Nice. Well,
what comes around? What comes around? I definitely like the beat on this one a little bit less. Not to say it's not equally as well made or all the other things that we've been saying. It's just playing up on samples of stuff like Moby Dick from Led Zeppelin and It's Hot Tonight by Alice Cooper and Put on Train and Gene Harris. It's not like my dad would probably really like this beat a lot more than I would like this beat, because my dad's like a huge Led Zeppelin, that era fan, whereas I like Anti-Flag and Rise Against and that kind of shit. Anyway, how do you feel about this wonderful track?
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this one. I feel like this one, is it maybe right here is just sort of like the less good songs. Not that it's bad, but it's just less good. That song's fire. I don't even know what you're talking about. That's cool. That's my opinion. I don't know. This one just wasn't all that special, and it's just talking about what goes around comes around, and sounds kind of like the last one a little bit. So I found that this was the first time that I was like, okay, these two are kind of there's something about them that is similar. This is probably my least favorite one on the album. I found it to be just kind of annoying to listen to. I gave this one a 3.8 on 5.
Fair enough. It feels like they like ladies and they're fucking your girlfriend and they're better. Overripe, fresh squeezed California females with 3-inch cherry red press-on Lee nails reach into my mind for the rhymes I'm seeking, like a garbage bag full overflowing, please, now it's leaking. And it's like, okay, so he sees a beautiful girl and he's going to reach into his mind, pull out rhymes, start macking, flowing, doing his thing. It's not new content, but the beat and instrumental and everything does make it a very distinct experience. Their flow patterns and rhymes are more distinct. I guess sometimes they're really interesting, and sometimes they're saying Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so I can climb up and get into your underwear. Rat, soup eating, test cheating, no business punk, you're insecure, born in the junkyard with junk. I'm like, what? That is a stark transition of content from trying to get in that lady's pants, unless you're basically now insulting that lady, calling her a punk or whatever, and you're just dissing this chick. You messed up your head, you fucked around and ended up with a bald skinhead, you're mixed up like Pastor Primavera, why'd you throw a chair at Geraldo Rivera? And I'm like, okay. I'm not sure who Geraldo Rivera is, but apparently a chair was thrown at him and somebody did that, and that happened in real life. But I guess it's like he's going at some psycho girl here. And anyway, so get the money out your ass, you whore. Well, I brought her upstairs onto the roof. I dogged your wife and she's a doofus. So I guess he disses her, makes her feel like absolute shit, brings her upstairs and fucks her. And then what goes around comes around, etc. And I didn't really get what the chorus was about and how this song ties into anything. The second verse is a clean beat, cleaning the G-spot, you know what we've got, so you're fucking the next girl. And at least they're caring about her pleasure by referencing the G-spot. It's not a myth, boys. The Dolomite's house and you have not. Should we watch Dolomite on the Netflix? I don't really know what Dolomite is.
I want to watch it.
Anyway, look out my window, look over the city with 2 black eyes, your girl ain't that pretty. So I guess now he's commenting on how this girl's gotten 2 black eyes, so maybe it's... So the first verse is kind of describing this guy who's treating her like shit. The second guy, it's commenting on how now she's beaten. I guess I didn't really catch that at first. Why you want to beat the brat with a bat? You want to treat your girl like that, living in the rat race, smoking rat weed. Well, you reap what you sow when you plant the seeds. Okay, and then, I guess that's what happens. And then it's Bad News Bears. when you beat women, and so you shouldn't.
True.
Oh, this is an anti-women beating song. Like, it didn't really click at first. I get that. So it is definitely more distinct in terms of content and subject matter, right?
I guess, yeah.
It's like shaming the guy for beating her, and then kind of with a vague threat, and then some Alabama shit thrown in at the bottom, and at the end of the track. I don't know. I gave it a 4.35. I think I respect it a little more content-wise, and it is really cool to see, like anti-drug messages, respect women. Like,
Okay.
they seem to have, like, across this album, we're real MCs, we're about real values, and we throw eggs at people. That's not really a big deal. But that's really cool. Anyway, one of the last tracks on the album is next. I think it's a cool
Shadrach.
one. Shadrach. So it's interesting about their use of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is these are from the book of Daniel in the Bible, like Daniel and the Lion's Den. Part of that story is these dudes don't do what the king wants, and they get thrown into the fire, the furnace thing as a punishment. And then they're protected by God. When they look in, they see like a fourth figure walking around the flames with them, as though the Son of God was just protecting them. So it's almost like by picking these three figures who was able to survive like the fiery furnace of hell and come through and make it on together, it's almost like I guess it's not really the finale of the album, but in a sense it's kind of like the finale of the album before you get like the encore with that like big track we'll talk about soon. And this is like their like mission statement. Like, this is who we are now. We've been through hell and back, and we survived. And we're just like these three Jewish figures of Israeli history. And I like
guess,
that.
yeah.
And it's cool just to kind of see that, kind of embracing that, and like stepping into it. I love the beat on this track personally. I think it's another fucking banger one. It's got a lot of stuff. It samples again from all over. It even samples some James Brown. It's got the funky drummer in there.
Gotta love it.
Anyway, what do you think about this one?
I don't know. I mean, this one just sounds cool. I mean, they spit well. I mean, it's like pretty sick. And then again, like the same sort of thing, like the bouncing back and forth. Which they're great at. I've said that, like 4 times already on this album. It's just more fun sounding. It's more of that kind of feeling. Like, I feel like I say fun like a million times on this one, but it just is.
It's a really fun album.
Yeah.
It's got a constant dancey vibe to it, regardless of the track you put on, and it goes in all directions with it.
Yeah, and like, interesting lyrics like, I've got money like Charles Dickens. I've got the girlies in the coop like the colonel's got the chickens. So like a chicken coop, and yet it's still like
KFC.
referring to like the type of car that the colonel might be sitting in. The colonel, as in the Kentucky Fried
General
Chicken.
Sanders.
Him, and like all of that, and like he's got girls, which also I'm thinking is maybe like a reference to chicken breasts, and then I don't know. And then you could just keep going with that and just pretend like it just starts off with the Eggman again, and chicken or the egg, I don't know. But no, I don't really think that has anything to do with it. This one, but I just liked there's just like a lot going on there. And I don't know, did Charles Dickens have lots of money when he died? I don't know, probably. He should have, anyways, at least in his estate. But 4.25 for me. I liked this one. It was good.
I liked it because, again, it felt so mission statement-y. It had like such a greatly intense beat to it, like such a cool vibe. I found myself really feeling strength. In the first verse, like, riddle me this, my brother, can you handle it? Your style to my style, you can't hold a candle to it. Equinox symmetry and the balance is right, smoking and drinking on a Tuesday night. So they all vibing and doing their own thing, but when push comes to shove, they're just better. They have a distinct thing. And I mean, all things considered, I don't think the Beastie Boys was ever, since I've been knowing about shit, they've always seemed to be really respected, and especially this particular album went down in history as a very great album in terms, apparently it flopped a bit at first, but like down the line it turned into one of those cult classic-y types. It's not how you play the game, it's how you win it. I cheat and I steal and sin, and I'm a cynic. And I like that because it takes like this more blunt look at life. Like the truth is, results matter, and you got to do what you're about to do to win. And then for those about to rock, we salute you. So if you're down to grind, you're down for that, we respect that.
Yeah.
The dirty thoughts for dirty minds we contribute to. I once was lost, but now I'm found. The music washes over, and your realm was sound. Well, who shall inherit the earth? The meek shall. And I think I'm starting to peak now. And that's great because it sounds like he's getting fucking high and tripping on some ecstasy or whatever. But at the same time, he's flowing over, but the music is really generating this, and he's just kind of creating this and showing that through a degree their humility allows them to be over there. I like when he goes, if I had a penny for my thoughts, I'd be a millionaire. That's just a great thought, because I'm always thinking of new shit. I'm always coming up with ideas. Otherwise, so like, rather than just, bashing on others, the whole point is we are amazing. And then, we're just three MCs and we're on the go. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Anyway, only 24 hours in a day, only 12 notes a man can play. Music for all, but not just one people. And that's an interesting line too, because it kind of shows there's 24 hours a day. Everyone's got the same amount of times. At the end of the day, music really is just 12 notes that are like repurposed to death to show like all the diverseness of everything you've ever heard. Yeah. And it's for everyone. So I guess they're kind of doubling down that we're white, we're allowed to rap too. And we're gonna bust with a Putney Swope sequel, more Adidas sneakers. Then Plumbers Got Pliers, got more suits than Jacob and Myers. It's just kind of flossy. And nothing really else is really like popping up in the second verse, but it really just holds on through. The third verse is pretty great. I love that Colonel Chicken line because I love KFC. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty good. But I like when he goes, and I'm always going out dapper like Harry S. Truman. And I thought that was a cool line too, right? Because dapper is always a really fucking good word. And when you do look at Mr. Truman's pictures, he was a dapper, handsome individual. Anyway, I like when he goes, Adam Yoggin is Yock and he's rocking, of course. Smoke the holy chalice, got my own religion. Rally around the stage, check the funky dope musician like Jerry Lee Swaggart or Jerry Lee Falwell. I don't know who those people are, but I love the way it all sounds. It's the overall swagger of it. I don't know. It's just a really good song. And then the way they chant it out at the end with the Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, just kind of going over that really pumping beat. I don't know what else I could want as a Jew. It's just fucking cool. It's a great track. I gave it a 5 on 5. I think this is absolutely one of the standout ones on this project. Totally great. Nothing else to say. Like I said in the other part one, I'm totally a little got a cold going on, so sorry if it feels like my energy is not 100. It's not. But we're persevering so we don't go weeks behind and always catching up on reviews. Yep. Yeah, responsibleness. So yeah, 5 on 5. Amazing song. And when push comes to shove, when you want to call Paul's Boutique, you need to ask for Janice. I'm like, I could live without this. I mean, it's cool. Just
I like it.
A little like commercial for it, like the best in men's clothing. Call Paul's Boutique. Ask for Janice. The number is 718-498-1043. That's Paul's Boutique, and they're in Brooklyn. So it's cool. Kind of shows up Brooklyn, but it just sounds like this like DIY radio ad from back in the day.
Absolutely.
And it really fits, and it's really cool. So I gave it a 4.25. It does better than the Chicken song. But like, I could also have lived my entire life, never heard this and been okay with it. But at the same time, I imagine this is like one of those things where if you were young and everybody was playing this record, you'd have people going around the hood or whatever being like, ask for Janice, ha 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 ha. Like I could see how this is a memeable moment of the 80s.
But I think, like, I like it because it, like, ties the whole album together. It's, like, a nice bow on it. Like, it's giving you, like, this is Paul's Boutique. Like, it's sort of like, this is us. This is our life. And it just feels so, like, genuine, kind of cutesy a little bit. It is an ad for, Paul's Boutique in Brooklyn, like you said, and to call and ask for Janice and whatever. But... And like how, like exactly like what you said, like kind of how it's like a, maybe like a low end,
do it yourself,
ad. But if you look at the cover and you look at the picture, like it's just a little rinky dink shop. So of course it's going to be a DIY situation. So it just fits perfectly, and I think it's ideal. I think it's great, and like whether or not the story is real, which I still feel like it is, but I don't know. I gave it a 4.35. I like it. It ties it together for me, and I like it.
Alright, so next up is the musical ensemble known as the
B-Boy
Bouillabaisse.
Bouillabaisse?
You know what the problem is? I speak French, and I don't know
know
what language that is.
It's French,
I'm reading
Bouillabaisse, but
I'm reading it in both languages at once.
It's just a weird word to say.
Bouillabaisse.
It's just a goulash, a stew of sorts.
So, like, I guess we're going to break this in, and like, this is like a mini review within the bigger review, because there's 9 parts to this that are all distinctly separate. So this is like 9 things, it kind of feels like, that weren't full songs strung together and made into a cool like experience at the end, sampling a whole bunch of stuff. So I could imagine the experience of hearing it for the first time as a long thing. But for me, I got it on Spotify, where it breaks it into like fucking individual pieces. So we can start with 59 Christie Street, which is where the apartment they were staying at, like as they were recording like after they got kicked out of some other place because they pissed people off. They ended up in this apartment located there.
Yep.
And then it's just a lot of scratching. It's a lot of kind of like, there's a lot of samples into this shit.
Yep.
Considering like what it is, but it's mostly like the stuff they're sampling in response, like the wick wick whack, you know, like, so like that kind of shit, which I think that's from Boogie Down. It's my philosophy. I might be wrong, but anyway, so it's just that, and then it's like there's not a lot happening lyrically. It's just a lot of, there's a
samples.
girl over there with long brown hair. I took her to the place. I threw the mattress in her face. Get it? Because he threw it out on the bed. Mm-hmm. I took off her bra. I took off the shirt. Took off the pants. You know what I fucking saw? It was a dick. That's what I got from that.
How often does this happen? Because I feel like we tend to hear, you know, stories. Not, you know, I guess not that often, but we do tend to hear stories where it's, you know, guys fall for chicks with dicks, and you know, like, what, you think you'd figure it out by now?
I think it was meant to be comedic. I think it was just a big joke. Oh, you were gonna fuck a hot girl. Ha ha, you got tricked. She has a dick. That's the joke.
Who cares?
It's not funny in 2020, but it was probably the bee's knees in '89.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do for my grade is, at the end of this, I'm going to give you my grade for each mini part, and then the whole track, because it's one track as far as, you know, I understand it, gets a grade based on the average of all these grades. So this first part gets a 4.25 for me. It's simple. It's kind of got a vibe to it. It's all right. It's not my favorite. It's okay. But it's good. Like, but it's like, okay. It's like a little break. It's interesting to listen to. I guess. What about you? Do you like it?
I didn't do it like the way you did it. I just did it as one big song.
Well, what do you feel about this part then?
I didn't divide it up by parts.
What do you feel about the first part?
I just listened to them all together because they were mostly short. So I just liked all of it. There was like a lot of sampling. So I'm just gonna do like the whole synopsis of this entire thing then.
Fine.
Well, you keep asking me about. I don't have anything. I didn't break it down like that.
But okay, fine.
Anyways, I liked that there were like, because it really is. Yes, they're all different, but they're all sort of built with the same sort of like ideas to like kind of show off like the sampling and mixing and like that kind of side of things, which is cool. And I like the samples from like Eric B and Rakim that's on here, and also, you know, they were represented by Rushtown Management at the time, so that makes sense. Plus, they're cool guys, and like just like little samples of them like spitting, like freestyles and beatboxing, like all of that, and like they're all just like short, fun, quick. They're like, you know, they're all under 2 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, they're all short like that.
A Year and a Day. So A Year and a Day was a little bit more produced. That one I will pull out and like say like that one felt like it was. There was something a little bit cooler that was going on with that one. I like the Johnny Cash sample on Dropping Names. Like, you know, I miss Johnny Cash. And I liked the flute or the recorder or whatever it was or something. It made it sound very like 60s kind of feeling. I don't know how or why, but it did. I don't know. So for me, like overall, I'll just give the grade. I gave this a 4.35 as like a whole sort of project, although they are individual. But I thought it was cool. Again, like little samples of like recordings that they just kind of like threw on at the end and tacked it on there, and it works. It's good.
Fair enough. And so after that first part where it just kind of like introduces it, it flips into a second part, which would be Get on the Mic.
Yep.
Which has not Mike D, but the other two, Ad Rock and MCA, kind of hyping him up, right? And the whole thing is like, get on the mic, Mike, you know? Let's be real, don't cloud the issue. The rhymes are dope and MCU must listen to. And so basically it's these two, the core Beastie Boys, the ones that Rick Rubin said were cool enough to be Beastie Boys, kind of hyping up Mike D. And I feel like it's meant to be a fuck you to, like, you know, the people who said he wasn't good enough, and them just reaffirming that this guy's squad and he's like really dope.
Yeah.
He's a special individual, pulling out knots and pulling in residuals. And I feel like it's like a foreshadowing, because way later on they call back to this and use a similar beat, because guess who? Mike does get on the mic, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, because before that we go to a goofier place with like Stop That Train, where it gets into this, like, I don't know, I felt like it was just like a stranger experience, and they're like, it's 4 a.m, I'm on the Hassan Pfeffer Ale, I got nothing to lose, I'm pissing the third rail, groggy-eyed and tired, I'm heading to the station, D-train, ride to the Coney Island vacation. You know, it gets the sense here that, like, they're a little drunk, a little faded, going out there having some tomfoolery, smoking, you know, just wilding out, being the Beastie Boys, probably even armed with some eggs ready to throw at some people. But it almost feels like it's built around that stop that train, I want to get off line. And then that just kind of gave them the imagination to run with it. I really like when he goes trench coat, wingtip, going to work, and you'll be pulling a train like you're Captain Kirk, because Captain Kirk is quite lovely. Currently, in case you're wondering, I am working on a book of Star Trek logic puzzles. Because
I did give that to him, though.
That's where we're at with this. Pickpocket gangsters paying their debts by picking pockets and paying debts. Caught a bullet in the lung from Bernard Getz, and I believe that's a guy who shot a bunch of black people in the subway for no fucking reason other than because they were black.
Yep. Real nice.
Anyway, so it just kind of raps about the train for a minute, and it just kind of ends, and I'm okay with that. I thought this was a particularly good point. Oh, so yeah, I forgot to state that for the second part where they get on the mic or whatever, that got a 4.5 from me. The train one here, it gets a 5 on 5. It's pretty exceptional the way he listens. I found it really cool. And then we flow into a year with the day, which is Mr. MCA, and apparently he says this is basically where his verse kind of led him to be a more spiritual rapper, and this was like the seminal point of that for himself. And you can kind of tell, like, it does feel more produced. It feels like it's a super serious verse, like MC and what I do, what I am and do, the A is for Adam and the lyrics true. And as I pray and hope that the message is sent, I'm dreaming in the dreams that I've dreamt, because I'm down to 3, the unstoppable 3. Me and Adam and D are born to MC. So far it's fair, like, you know, I'm brought from this, like, my gift is to MC, to be this person on the earth, but and my body and soul and mind are pure, not polluted or diluted or damaged beyond cure, just lyrics from I to you, recited, arrested, bailed, but cuffed and indicted. And I like that he's kind of saying, I'm pure in how I present this to you, I'm just giving it out to you, almost like I'm on trial for bearing my soul, and this is kind of the response to it. And I feel like overall, as the track like flows out, like you feel like this power in him, like, speak my knowledge to the crowd, and the Ed is special, for I am the bard and I am the last one, I am the king and this is my castle. It's like he recognizes for the first time the power of being an MC and what that responsibility comes with it, you know? And I think it's really cool. I like when he's like, I drop the L when I'm skiing, I'm smoking and peeking, I put the skis on the roof almost every single weekend, can't stop the mindfuck when it's rolling around, can't stop the smooth running when the shit's running strong. And it's like, you know, he drops the L when he's skiing. I believe that's the joint. While he's smoking and peeking, so he's doing peaks like of the fucking ski slope while smoking joints, and he's just chilling, and it just feels like he's a fun guy. He prefers his life. He doesn't need another man's wife. Don't need no crazy lifestyle with stress and strife. It's good to have a turn to be a king for a day or for a week or for a year and a day, come what may. And I guess it's just being like acceptance of when the good things come, regardless of how long it comes, is to appreciate it and shit. Anyway, it's like a fully flushed out, like almost like track in like the middle of this. So honestly, Year in a Day actually is just above 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes 22 seconds. It's got like a more serious sounding beat to it. Like it's just really cool. Like it could have just been a thing on its own on the project. And then while everything's going like serious and whatnot, you just hear this hello. Oh yeah, by the way, that got a 5. Absolutely. And then you get this hello Brooklyn, and it just like fucking changes and like like kind of vibe. Like now we're like in straight from where we're from. Like they just couldn't get through this project without giving a little love song to Brooklyn,
Yep.
You got lines like New York, it's a hell of a town, the Bronx is up, and I'm Brooklyn down because they don't know my name, only my initials, building bombs in the attic for elected officials. To the bomber guy who...
Well, I was going to say like the New York is the reference to the Frank Sinatra song.
All right, but oh yeah, because when Yock takes the station, we know my initials, MCA, even though he says his name like all the fucking times. Anyway, but there is a reference to the Mad Bomber who was blowing up some bullshit in New York or whatever. Anyway, there's lots of people
Was it at that point, the Twin
Towers?
Towers?
There's lots of white people who have done a lot of terrorist-like bullshit across American history. Yeah. I would just like to point that out. So he quit his job, he cuts his hair. I cut my boss because I don't care. He's got like a bit of a fun, like, I guess it's putting in like the spirit of like that rambunctiousness that's coming through. Anyway, I just thought it was fun. It had a great vibe to it. Hey breast, I saw, I retched, I felt. Her breast, I saw, I reached, I felt. MONEY, the belt. And I'm like, that's just fun and careless. Like they're so Brooklyn fly. He just reaches out and grabs a titty, and it works, and it's pretty dope.
Sure, you go.
Anyway, I really enjoyed this Brooklyn one too. I thought it had a super cool energy. I gave it a 4.5. We are almost done. We are moving on through, but the next part is dropping names because, that's what comes through. And then I liked how this starts off with this tongue twister that they apparently give to people who are trying to recover from speech disabilities, where it's, he thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees a ghost. He thrusts his fist and he just repeats that over this kind of goofy little like thing.
The tongue twister, yeah.
And then, like, it doesn't have, like, a lot going on. It's just, like, a short little weird thing. Well, if your world was all black and then your world was all white, then you wouldn't get much color out of life now, right? And then I guess it's taking, again, another commentary on the racism issue and saying maybe try to be a little broader with your perspective. Stop trying to put life into these things. I'm nicknamed Shamrock because I guess he's Ad Rock. Well, my name is not Seamus. I think he's saying...
He's lucky, maybe?
But he's also not Irish.
No.
Girlie's on the tippy because my homie is famous. I'm like, you got girls on his dick. No, my name is not O'Hoolihe, nor is it Brian. I'm like, what the fuck are you going on about? I don't know. Maybe because he's white, and so he's not all these other white names. I said I was weak, man. I'd be lying. Well, suckers try to buy it. Yeah, they try to pursue it. And then you get that Bob Marley little sample. You explain to a musician, them knew it, but can't do it. Where it's saying, like, you can teach a musician or somebody how to play the music, but they can't find the spirit of the music, which I think is what they're trying to do here, is say, like, yeah, I get it. Lots of people are out there, but just because we're white doesn't mean we're not hip-hop, is I think what they're trying to convey with all of that. I thought this one was also pretty fun and cool to listen to. I give it a 4.75. Then it moves into Lay It On Me. And I believe this, I don't know. It just comes in. I don't have a lot more to comment on this one. It's fine. It goes through real quick. There's not many lyrics in here I thought was good. All things considered, this was not one of my favorite ones, but it does have, like, again, a stark contrast. Like, every one of these bits sounds so different than the last one, and it's like going on a fucking rush, and you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. I gave this one a 4.35. I do like that Johnny Cash sample, like,
Yep.
just to hear him die. Or whatever. It just sounded really good the way they placed that. I don't remember exactly where it got put. I think it was on Dropping Names. Anyway, then after Lay It On Me, we move on to the follow-up of Get on the Mic, Mike. Well, Mike ends up on the mic.
Yep.
And he proceeds to lay down a little ditty, kind of over a beat that sounds like the other one. And it's fine, met this girl last night with a peculiar cackle. I laid the bait and she took the tackle. Had too much to drink at the Red Lobster and the room is spinning around like the blades of a helicopter. And then he just talks about some girls he met.
Cool.
And it's fine. He does his own little thing. It's totally cool, but I kind of feel like it was good. It was a good follow-up. It brought us back in. It gave us some closure there. Mm-hmm. And then in the way, I guess, a lot of classic hip-hop albums end, we get AWOL, which is kind of more of this little scratchy shout-out kind of call-out. So it's just like, DJ Hurricane, when Mighty's in the house, what you gonna do? I go AWOL. When Adrock's in the house, I go AWOL. When MCA's in the house, I go AWOL. And they shout out the whole crew, shout out a bunch of people
Did
around.
you say DJ Hurricane?
I did. I might have. No, it is DJ Hurricane. Oh, it is.
I wonder if that's where DJ Black Hurricane got his name.
That's possible. I didn't even catch that.
And that's why he's showing it to us.
Fair enough. You could let us know.
Did we discover your secret?
In the comments. But yeah, fair enough. He was their DJ for a while, though. And then, yeah, it just kind of does that shit for a minute, shout-outs, and then it just cuts to that to all the girls, the thing, and then it just repeats that for a while, really giving it like this circular album feel where you could almost then let it loop in from the beginning, put it down the volume, it starts to mix back up in, and it goes throughout again. I didn't like the outro as much because shout-out tracks aren't my favorite. Not actually a commentary on the beat because it was still pretty cool. So I give that part a 4.35, and if we take all 9 of those marks together, it gives this particular track a 4.66 because it's one hell of a way to end a project. It doesn't get boring. You can listen to it on a loop. It's freaking fun. It's goofy. It's basically like again, it's like a bunch of song snippets strung together in such a way where there's so many different samples and construction layered together to create this like experience where I don't necessarily think I've heard a lot of people. The only other time I've heard a project that might have been like more all over the place than this is Girl Talk. I don't know if you know Girl Talk, DJ Black Hurricane. I don't even know how to review a Girl Talk, but that dude did some crazy shit with his Feed the Animals All Day and the earlier project that he had. He had 3 albums that were just insane. But anyway, that would be it. So that would be what I got to say about that. And I guess we ended up on Girl Talk, which isn't related to Beastie Boys, but is it? I don't know. So yeah. That's what I gotta say about this track. I guess we can move into
That's it.
End of the album. So this is the little summary part. I gave this classic album a 4.52 on 5, which to me, if it's above 4.5, it's a classic because that's like above 90 and like that's fucking hard to do. For real though, we listened to this in 2020 for the first time. Well, I guess in 2019 I heard it for the first time. Maybe. I know I heard it for the first time in 2019. I reviewed it in 2020.
Yeah, maybe.
Still, the point is, like, basically, it's pretty, like, now that I heard it. And I think that, all things considered, it taps into, like, such a primal, like, the Dust Brothers, just their understanding of music and the Beastie Boys and the way they all blend together. It transcends, like, the trends. It's just tapping into the science that and the math that drive music to go into appealing directions where in like 50 years you could probably throw on this project and it'll sound as good as throwing on like Benny Goodman because it taps into like that like essentialness of what like composition is proper. Sure, some of the lyrics are goofy as fuck, but they're like early 20s guys in the late 80s. I was 2 when this not even 2 when this album came out. So like it gets a pass in that front, but also like as much as I say that yes, there were a few songs that felt like they were kind of going out about like we're better rappers than you, but for the most part, there was like 7 or 8 topics, distinct song topics that came on this project, and that's extremely versatile for this era from what I've come to see. So like this project feels like this experimental clusterfuck where, I mean, I don't know. I could see how THC makes this a wonderful experience. But yeah, no, I'd recommend this to a lot of people. I could see how the Beastie Boys really went from being what they were on License to Ill into like more serious artists at this point.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great album. I gave this a 4.396 on 5, so almost a 4.4. So like an 87.9%. It's great. It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's really unique. It's goofy. It's a good time. Like if you want to just like go like fuck around and just be goofy guys in your car or something like that, put this on. Like it's gonna get you in like a great mood.
Throw eggs at people.
Throw eggs at people. Like your Halloween mood or whatever. Like it's just a fun like easy album to listen to and enjoy, and you don't necessarily have to be like sitting there and listening to like all the lyrics and stuff like that so carefully. It's more just about the construction of this art piece, basically, and it's really well kind of tied together, and it's very well composed. I mean, great job.
Yeah, this was a fun album to go through. Thank you, DJ Black Hurricane.
Yeah.
And thank y'all for watching. It means the world that you would like come through here. I mean, if you don't watch, there's almost no point in making the video.
Almost.
So, I mean, I'd still like the process, but like it's more fun if y'all watch and are engaged and leave comments and we have discussions and whatnot. Mm-hmm. That would be super dope. I'll make sure to answer you if you leave a comment. Feel free to like the video if you did. You can subscribe to the channel for more reviews, and we definitely have more of those planned coming. It's going to be another full year. So special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, Coney Sparks, and Scribble. Mm-hmm. They're dope. They support what we do, helped us get a new camera, helped us get on Spotify's. They don't even know all the ways they're going to help us soon, but we have ideas. We're fleshing out a plan, and yeah, they are amazing, and they get to tell us what albums to review. Like this very episode is a result of that. So if you want to tell us what albums to review and support us and help us achieve some of the expensive crap lined up, that would be awesome, and we'd love you for it. And I make music myself. You can check that out on this channel, on Spotify, whatever else. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. The last album I dropped is called The Alternative Grind. Got a new one underway. And yeah, live long and prosper. Or no one really knows what I'm talking about. My name's Roy.
Bye, guys.